Hello, my name is Tom, and this is a brief video to show the current state of sharding and why that is important to the organization data migration effort. So here is a script that attempts to find all the tables that are sharded and also the tables that are not sharded. So I'm gonna run this now. And we can see that we have only 151 fully sharded tables and 771 unsharded tables. So for the sharded tables, this is where we can confidently say that the rows related to the organization can be extracted correctly to the organization to the cell that we want to migrate. And similarly, we can also use these tables for isolation as well. And for the uncharted tables, this can mean a lot of things. Firstly, um, there is the sheer number of uncharted tables, which means that it is not feasible to have a fine-grained strategy, a custom strategy for each of these things. So therefore, we need to have a broad strategy, and the safest broad strategy for me is to copy nothing. So that is, if we think that an org has rows in any of these uncharted tables, we simply cannot move that org. So that is one safe broad strategy. The trade-off for this strategy is that the application might encounter errors then uh, in that new thing because we have not copied anything. Uh, the alternative broad strategy is to copy everything, which means that for each uncharted table, we copy the entire table to the target cell. Now, the trade-off for this one is that we might encounter a split brain where because the data is present in both cells, both might create permanent effects for that organization or for that customer or for the user, and even send out external effects as well, which we need to be able to mitigate. So secondly, the current state of sharding is unfortunately not viable because namespaces is currently in the list of unsharded tables. So, which means, yeah, basically everything's unsharded. And the reason for this is that because the namespaces table um, has a dependency on the push choose table, and the push choose table is not sharded yet. So we can see this for the logs in here where, yeah, so namespace has a reference table to the push choose table, so which is not sharded yet. So once the push choose table is sharded completely, it means then a lot more tables can be considered fully sharded, which is great. Now, of course, we can push through an exception to say like, oh, okay, if the org has where it has all its namespaces, we need to check all the namespaces for that org, and none of the namespaces has a push through ID value, then we can safely migrate that org. So we can push exceptions like that, but as I mentioned before, it is not feasible to have to do this for every single table. 770 table to be precise, right? Oops, I stopped my share. Let me restart my share. Sorry. Okay, so yeah. And then thirdly, I wanted to kind of touch on the sheer number of exceptions that we can apply today to kind of essentially bypass sharding, which is not great. So firstly, um, yeah, okay. Firstly, there are dependencies, so that's known. By the way, this is a great kind of list of things we should target. So for example, push rules, I think, is probably the highest priority to finish sharding, along with nodes, I think. And then the other exceptions are where, okay, we can just simply skip. We have the ability to exempt not now constraint for no reason at all. So we need to chase that up. The third one is we have the ability to exempt the whole table just from not being exempt, even though we know that it contains customer data. So that's another thing that we need to stop. Um, and then wait, the sharding key is not okay. That's not exception. That's where there's backfilling involved and things like that. So we're still yeah. But I believe let's look at the spec, shall we? Allowed to be missing sharding key. Okay, yeah. So this is an exemption that we need to. It's only one table, but I it's also again another possible exemption. So yes, so this is the current state of sharding, and yeah, we have a lot more work to do. Yeah, thank you.